Welcome to the Park Commission meeting. Let's go. Let's see. In accordance with the provisions allowed by Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, the March 15th, 2022 public meeting of the Lakeville Park Commission will be held remotely. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be viewed at a later date at www.lakecam.tv. So first item on the agenda is review and approve minutes from June 29th and December 6th. I think we lost Nellie. I think the December 6th ones, we need Scott here to do that. That's what they've been hanging around. Let's see what Nellie has to say.
Hi, sorry.
Nellie, the December 6th minutes, do we need Scott for those? Thought that was the holdup.
Yeah, I just put that on just in case he popped in.
All right, so,
but yes, we need Scott.
Okay, we'll hold off on that one. So the ones on the June 29th, looks like everybody is able to approve those. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at them? If there's any corrections?
Nope.
If not, then I'll make a motion. We accept the minutes of June 29th, 2021 as written. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. We'll take a vote. Yes will be approved and no will not be. Tony, how do you vote?
Approve.
Paula?
Approve.
Okay, so be it. Joe approved. I'm approved. I got you, Nellie. Motion has been passed. We accepted the minutes for June 29th. Thank you very much, Nellie. All right, so moving right along to the next one, because we'll wait for Scott if he does come in. Excuse me. Review and vote on the updated Clear Pond Park job descriptions. Everybody got those last ones? Anybody have any issues with those?
Nope.
Did everybody not get them? I take it by the silence means everybody got them. Everybody is in approval of those. So if they are, I'll make a motion. We accept the job descriptions as written. And then hopefully we'll get those posted after the 21st once the select board meets and approves them. All right, can I get a second?
Second.
All right, let's take a vote on, excuse me, accepting the job descriptions for the Clear Pond Park lifeguard, attendants, and director. Tony, how do you vote?
Approve.
Paula?
Approve.
Joe, approve. Motion's passed. Nellie, can you see that those job descriptions get the thumbs up sent to select board? Because you can go into HR with them first, but the select board has to vote on them at their next meeting.
I'm going to email John right now to let him know to go ahead.
All right, beautiful. So hopefully we'll get them up there by the end of the week, maybe, and we'll start seeing some candidates. Next one, again, this one's coming up again. We only have 3 people on. It's a shame. Review and possible vote on Clear Pond Park 2022 season. I would like to suggest we move this to the end, maybe number 8, and see if Darlene joins us. That's okay. We'll still talk about it tonight, but let's see if we get another person to join. How's that? Okay? All right. So let's go. Let's review with possible vote on the volleyball tournament request. Has anybody seen the request from Jamie? There's about, I think, 6 or 8 tournaments she wanted. Has everybody seen them?
Yep.
Any questions, complaints, concerns on that one at all? Question I have for you, Nellie, on the contract or somebody else. On the contract, I know it says $2 per participant, and it says a $250 fee, possible, whatever, I forget what it's called, deposit, I guess. Is that per contract, or is that per tournament or per bunch of tournaments? You know what I'm saying?
It's per tournament.
So
that if it was 8 of them at one time, we'd be asking for $1,000.
Well, remember the security
2,000.
deposit was put in there mainly for tournaments outside of our normal groups.
Okay.
Because our normal groups are just having their participants pay when they go.
Okay. All right. I thought it was. I want to clarify that because I don't want if folks have to pay $2,000 up front. I don't think we need to do that. I think Jamie asked if it be waived anyway. So yes. I think that falls under the guidelines of waiving that $250 deposit. So do we have any issues with those tournaments, those dates?
Doesn't look like it.
There are events, I think every single date that Jamie provided, there are events at the Loon Pond Lodge, but being that they're kind of separated, I don't think it's a huge deal. The only one is Poker Run. We already have horseshoes and we have Poker Run, and Jamie wants a tournament on the same day.
Now, we already approved horseshoes, correct?
Yep, because Boston Tavern didn't think it was going to be an issue. So
what do we think? Do we think volleyball will be an issue if all three are on that one day?
I feel like that it's absolutely fine. That's what Ted Williams Camp is designed for.
Is parking an issue?
There seems to be plenty of parking in the Ted Williams Camp. If you can park over towards the soccer fields, that's possible. And if not, there's extra parking towards the tennis courts.
Millie, what is the Poker Run? What exactly is that? Is that just an event inside the lodge?
no, they ride through town. They start at Ted Williams Camp and they end at Ted Williams Camp. So all the riders convene there, I believe is how it goes. And then at the end, when they all come back together at Ted Williams Camp, they do a meal.
So what time do the riders come and go? Do we know what the time schedule is?
I don't know.
Is there going to be a safety issue at all with riders coming and going, volleyballers come in, parking, whatever, whatever, I don't know. Just ask the question.
I think they start early. I'm not sure. And then they'll come back at one specific time. I don't know how long the ride is.
Did they give you any details, Nellie?
I didn't hear that. What was that?
Did they give details in terms of a time frame?
Yeah. Do you mean volleyball? Did they give it?
Yeah. It's like 7 in the morning to 7 at night, wasn't it?
Yeah, they put 7 to 7 on each request.
So I get, is it possible we could probably tell the volleyballers where to park? I guess we could do that, right? And same thing for the horseshoe people. Give them their area to park in. As long as they stay there, maybe we have to rope some things off. I don't know, but maybe that's an option.
There is one event that Boston Tavern noted that they have a 100-person-ish reception, and they just want to make sure that they have parking, which I think would be fine as long as volleyball stays like towards the volleyball horseshoe area and then the paved area at the maintenance building. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be fine, but I mean, we might just need to note to horseshoes and volleyball, guys, at your tournaments, just remember we're having events, so please have everybody like park this away.
Yeah. I'd just suggest maybe we do that when the events get closer. We tell the events where they should be parking, the horseshoes, whoever's got an event there, just so we know where we want them to park, keep out of the way. Plus, if there's going to be riders going through there, we have to be careful on the safety aspect there. All right. So I guess so. I'll make a motion. We accept the volleyball tournament request as is, waiving the fee.
Waiving the deposit.
Yes, right. I fee. You're right. Moving the deposit. So it'll just be per participant fee that's stated on the contract on those dates. How's that? Does anybody have any issues with that? Can I get a second on that?
I second it.
Any discussion? I would just make note, Nellie, that maybe we tell Jamie and anybody who's having an event that they should speak to us before the event about any parking restrictions. Maybe we start that for all events at Ed Williams. If it makes sense, maybe we can have them park in a certain area with time, and just let them know that what is going on. Okay.
Okay.
There won't be any issues there. All right. Let's take a vote on that. Paula, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Yeses have it. Joe says Joe, yes. So that's passed. Nellie, you'll communicate to Jamie on that one?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next one. Review a possible vote on women's soccer spring contract. I think that's Darlene has soccer as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know Is anybody know any information on that one?
I have the contract and their tentative schedule.
Is that similar to, it was what, like 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, right? That's all it was on Saturdays and Sundays, or Saturday, I think it was.
It's Sundays. They play on Sundays. And yeah, they didn't want, they're asking 3 to 6 on the Sundays.
Yeah, we get Darlene joining now. Maybe she gives any information on that as well.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I just looked at the clock.
All right, Darlene, we were just talking about the women's soccer spring contract. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at it or not.
I did. Yes, I did. It looked okay to me. I mean, I think they just have to get their ducks in order, right? They have to get their insurance and all that stuff.
They send us the insurance binder. I just got to take a look, make sure it says Town of Lakeville, the usual.
Yeah. I mean, I looked it over.
What's the first date they're starting, Nellie?
It looks like it's April 3rd.
The field's going to be available by then. I mean, I know they've been soft. I think I saw an email from Scott at one point saying they don't want people using them just yet. Is that too soon?
Mm.
And will the bathrooms be open then?
I think so. I don't think them starting in April is any weird ask.
I just asked a question because it's not that far away, and I know that we've had some rain and all that. I don't know how the fields are. I have no idea.
Yeah, when it comes to the rain and it drying out, I mean, we're at the mercy of the weather. There's not much guarantee we can provide because, I mean, in all honesty, it could rain for the whole week before that weekend, and then we have to close the fields because they don't have enough time to dry.
So, right. If we don't have a problem, then also we have to make sure the bathrooms are open. The whole bathroom situation again. We have to coordinate that because right now we don't have anybody cleaning them. Bob is not working for us yet. He's not back to work yet. So maybe that's a separate issue here. But maybe we just go along with the contract here. But if no one's any problems with it, let's take a vote and see if we can approve that contract. Anybody want to put up for a vote?
Nice to see you too. Take care.
Anybody?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we put that up for a vote.
Second.
Approve the soccer contracts.
Second.
Any discussion? Just make sure, Nellie, if you could, we have to make sure this season nobody starts until we have all the contracts in hand, binders, the whole 9 yards. All right.
We'll try.
All right. Let's go take a vote on this. Tony, how do you vote?
Approve.
Paula?
Yes.
Darlene?
Yes.
Joe, yes. So moved.
Joe?
All right. Next one. Review and possible vote on electricity invoices. Nellie, you provided the invoices for different areas. This is something we've spoken about before, but I don't think we've acted on it. But it's a good chunk of change we spend on electricity. I know for volleyball as well and all that. How do we divvy that up on park fees? I know in the past, like Blooper Ball we had them pay some last year for electricity, but I think there's more to be gotten, more to get, I guess. I guess we got to figure out how for our sports, how we want to charge for electricity for, who uses the lights, volleyball, softball, blooper ball, well, I might be missing, basketball tournaments, things like that. So what do we want to do with the electricity costs, folks?
I thought they were being charged, Joe.
It's not always that clear. How much do they get charged?
I thought they get a monthly bill, don't they?
Yeah, but how much? That's the point. We do right now, but we haven't been not very well at it. But how do we do it? Like say for volleyball, I'll pick on them. No intent. They use lights. They're not there all the time. The lights are on. So how much do we charge them for the lights? Nellie.
If I can review our past processes, the last time the teams were charged for electricity was 2019 electricity use. So for volleyball, let's say, because, you know, we've had trouble with that timer, like you said, they're on, they're not there. They were just given a flat fee of $100. And that's what we've kind of done for the past couple of times we've charged them, because we can't really figure out what they're using versus them being on at night on a sensor, etc. Horseshoes typically pays theirs because they're directly involved in the use of those lights.
Did they pay theirs, Nellie?
I'm sorry?
Did Horseshoes pay their own electric bill?
No, no one pays their own. All the electricity is paid by us on a monthly basis. And then we do the assessments the following year, so we can have a whole season and say, okay, this is your assessment for the season that you played.
So you mentioned,
and then they have to pay that.
So now you mentioned volleyball. I mean, it looks like here in 2021, it says it was $471.
Correct.
Obviously they weren't playing the whole time, but how did we figure $100 out of that?
It was just, I think, from past amounts and in speaking with the volleyball group, that we said we would just do a flat $100 for assistance with the electricity.
I would suggest if we could find out how much usage is used, say, in per hour, we might be able to get with Nate and figure out if it's per hour. Then we charge them if they play 50 hours in the season. We charge them for that because it might be more than $100.
I don't think we can get per hour. On the bill, it gives us the amount per month that's been used, and it'll give us the months previous and et cetera. So you can compare it that way. But I think they're only checking on a monthly basis what the meter's doing.
I'm just saying, with Nate knowing electricity, I mean, you might be able to know how many kilowatt is used per hour. That's all I'm saying. And then we can do the math there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mean, not picking on the group, believe me. But
how much does volleyball pay for their whole season?
They're at their usual $20 per player. The tournament, of course, is a different fee if they're doing that. And then the electricity assessment has been like $100 for the past couple of years or so.
So, okay. So over the course of the whole season, though, I would be interested to know how much we take in from volleyball. I mean, it seems like that they're paying, you know, with all those tournaments that they have lined up, quite a bit into the park.
Don't forget, there's only $2 a person for a participant. So if you have 50 people, there's only $100 you're getting.
And how many tournaments were there? There was 8 tournaments?
For this season, I think they only had like 2 last year.
So this
because everybody was just starting to get background.
So substantially more tournaments. So just say $100 a tournament. That's $800. And then is there any other fees for just regular league play?
Just that $20 per player for the season. That's it.
Okay.
I was just looking at the fee, you know, the price, you know, electricity spreadsheet you sent around, even for Bond Street, got about $900 there. I know we charge.
That's the highest it's been. Yeah. So they really use those lights.
Yeah, I know we charged them, but I think they paid $300 last year. Blue Ball did, and this isn't all Blue Ball using the lights either. But again, maybe we have to up what we're charging people.
It seems to me it's just hard to keep track of everybody that's actually under those lights at those certain times. So to me, it makes more sense to have it reflective in the fee and not trying to break down kilowatt hours.
But how are you gonna break it down for the fee then?
So if it was $20 per player, now it's 21.
But if it's only 50 players, it's only $50.
But we just talked about 8 different tournaments.
But if the tournament's if the 7 till 7, there's no lights probably being used. So the tournaments wouldn't be any lights. It's just when they play during the week. I think they play till 10, don't they? I don't even know what their hours are at night. And I said, I'm not picking on volleyball, but whoever uses lights, obviously they shouldn't have to pay the whole fee. I understand that. But I just want to make sure we're getting, we're not, get soaked on electricity fees. That's all.
Well, I mean, it's
up?
clear costs are rising. I mean, that does make sense. I mean, lights cost money. If these fees have been the same for year after year, we know the cost of energy is going up.
Right.
I could see over the course of 100 different players playing there at $20 a piece. Well, we could go to 21, and then that would absorb some of that electricity cost.
Now, another one is the soccer pump house, and I don't know anything about that there. It says soccer FLLA in the library on that. That was $1,200. We don't get any of that money back, do we?
We're supposed to get some of that money back. So that $1,200 is, in fact, that pump house where it's the irrigation for the soccer and baseball fields, but the library fountain in the front is tied into our pump house.
Joe?
Yep.
Just going back to the electric, I would imagine that there is a way that the electric company could tell you what the hourly usage and cost breakdown is. There has to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I'm
easy
just thinking,
to get.
why not? And then you'd say, okay, so the soccer people use the lights, I don't know, 50 hours. I'm just throwing a number out there, and whatever the breakdown is on that, then prorate it. That's what you charge them. I mean, they can't expect the town or the park commission to pay the pump house, the electric, and we're losing money, obviously, again and again and again. That's all.
Yeah. I don't think $20 per person to play for 3-4 months is much at all. So again, I'm not quite going to solve this now, but I think we should take the information that Nellie sent us and take a look at it, maybe come up with some ideas on how we want to do this. But I think we didn't recoup anything for the last 2 years. 1 year we didn't play ball and all, but again, we're putting an awful lot of water on those fields. No one's using them. Again, it's not free. So I think we have to take a look at that.
I agree.
All I'm saying, though, is from a player's perspective, it's nice if you're going to play in a league that you pay a fee and that's what your fee is. And if we need to up the fees to cover the cost of the facilities, then we do so. It's then you get a bill at the end and say, oh, well, we use this amount of lights. Now you owe this much extra. To me, it rather front load it than give it to them.
Sure. So instead of $20, it's 25. You just pick a number, that works.
We figure out what's going to cover some more of the cost. That's fair.
I agree.
Joe, you're on mute.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Yeah, we can't change fees this year. It's already started. So I guess we got to figure out how we're going to handle. Are we going to charge the park usage fee, which is stated on the contract, a park usage fee, which includes electricity and whatnot. So we still can do that, but I don't think we can't raise fees for the season because we're already started. So maybe next year we can, but I think we have to figure out how we want to do. If we want to recoup some electricity this year, how we want to do that. Nellie.
So the spreadsheet I sent to everybody does have some past years in there too for comparison. If anybody wants to kind of take a look at that and comparing years, but I did already send out some contracts that have the $20 fee, so we can't change that. So if we want to just move forward with this year being like the last year that we do electricity assessments versus rolling it into the fee, it's a good time to go, okay, well, how much are we charging? How much would it be for per player addition sort of deal?
Yeah, I we have the same thing we have talked about for fertilizer as well. We get to look at that. We're spending $16,000 on fertilizer, not getting it back. So, Paula,
can't we just charge a flat fee for the teams that are using electricity after 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever? Why can't we just charge a flat fee period for the teams instead of trying to pick it apart?
I guess what are you saying on that one, Paula? I thought we just talked about that.
Well, we were charging $100 for electricity for these teams. So if that's not enough, why don't we charge 125? I mean, you know, you're trying to divide this up, and it's so complicated. We're not going to be able to come up with a number for them. So why don't we just go to one flat fee for electricity for the seasons? If soccer is, or if volleyball, I hate to pick on them, is playing all season and they're using the lights, why can't we just say there's $100 electricity fee or $150 electricity fee? Is that too much money for them? Is that, I mean, we just can't figure out the number of kilowatt hours and the price for every single league.
But once again, not many leagues use the lights. That's what I'm saying. It's volleyball use lights, blooper ball. Some people use electricity like for the fields, for the watering the fields and things like that for soccer. But the lights, it's only a few sports that have lights that use it. Okay.
But there's
that's what I was saying there. So, you know, Horseshoes is paying their own. Right now, volleyball isn't. Blooper ball, we assess some, but maybe we have to assess more. You know.
But isn't this, wouldn't this be part of the usage fee? If you had a usage fee that you're charging them, right?
If you look at the contracts, that's what we're talking about. There is a park usage fee on each of the contracts, but in the past we really haven't charged anybody that usage fee. I think we have to take a look at that again. I mean, we're not flush with cash. Maybe it's something we have to do is recoup our money, not to make money, at least to break even. But we're paying a lot for electricity as well as some other things. Maybe it's a way to recoup that. That's all.
But in the past, we've charged a usage fee, but we've never collected it. Is that correct?
I don't believe we charged it. Nellie, you can speak up. I don't think we charged people usage fees.
No, that was something newer that came about, adding this usage fee to then combine whatever was needed. The electricity assessments have been assessed of the teams and groups since I've been on the commission. So it's been 6 years. And that's the way that we've recouped some of the electricity costs, is that they know that these are coming. We wait until the next year to assess, because then we can take all the bills and go, this is how much usage there was. Here's your charge for last year's electricity usage. So, you know, changing it to a flat fee or putting it into, or rolling it into the per person fee, or just adding it as a usage fee would be just something new for us to calculate and add on.
Well, it sounds like for this year, then we're just going to keep it the way it is so that we can recoup some of it.
Yeah, some of the contracts are already out with the $20. So I think for this year, you know, maybe this is the last year we do it this way. And then next year we look towards rolling it into the amount, if you guys want to do it that way.
You mean into the usage fee, Nellie?
Usage fee or the per participant fee, whichever way you guys want to work it.
Yeah, there's the other way we could do it is to say, hey, look, if we have the lights on for, you know, 800 hours on the basketball court, this is what it costs. You know, and then say, okay, well, you have this many players and you guys are going to use it for this many hours. And then we can actually have a more accurate number that way, kind of doing it the reverse way.
Yeah, I'll speak to Nate and see if I can get a breakdown by hour, whatever it may be. Let's see how we can see it, if that'll help. Let's get him some information. We can go from there. We know how many what the hours people are using in the areas. So that's what we'll do. So, all right, I don't want to belabor the point, but that's what we'll do. I'll get that and I'll send that to everybody. That's something to think about during the season and into next year. How we want to do that. All right. Everybody okay on that one there? We're not going to vote on anything because we're not assessing anything right now. Unless anybody has anything different. And Nellie, you had anything else you were thinking about or on that one?
Not for that one. You just, you know, if we're going to assess them their fee from last year, we just got to get those bills out to them.
Yeah. And you know who paid some already, so, right? I mean, let's say we do that. And let people know, so that, they're going to use the lights, you got to pay for them. The lights aren't the most efficient, so they're expensive to run. And the ones at John Pond aren't cheap. So anyway, all right, moving right along. One more item here. Review the revised roles and responsibilities for park commissioners. I sent this out to everybody. This is something we had for the last couple of years. I think with the elections coming up, we should nail this down by next meeting. So when the new board comes in, they'll have ideas what's expected and what roles are available. I don't know if anybody's had a time to look at it or not. I sent out the current one and then one that I just took a shot at. I rearranged some of the roles and things like that there. I think it's something we should pass on to the next group. Instead of having, like I said, the last one still had the lodge on there and all that stuff. So I took that off there. But again, if you have any feedback, let me know, because I'd like to nail that down by next meeting. So the next group will have it when they come in. All right. Anybody have any questions, complaints about it? Anybody seen it?
I did. Yeah. I saw it. I looked it over.
Did it look all right?
It looked all right to me. I mean, I didn't dissect it, but it looked fine. I mean, I was glad to see the loon pond come off, Yeah.
Yeah. We broke up the Ted Williams part into two different responsibilities for those people. We added a outdoor event liaison, if you will, or coordinator. So when we have events at the park, say for example, we have a Tri-Fest, someone on the park will be responsible for liaisoning with those people. In the past, it used to be the lodge, but we need someone from ourselves to coordinate that. So I added that responsibilities onto one of the commissioners. All right.
Yeah, look fine to me.
All right. So like I said,
I think it looks good.
All right, so we'll nail that down. We'll make it. That'll be the way we'll go with it then. All right. So good. All right. Next one. Back to item number 3. Review a possible vote on Clear Pond Park 2022 season. All right. What we have. The current system is right now it's Lakeville only. We talked last time and we didn't have enough for a vote. There was the proposal from Tony and Paula to increase it to Lakeville, Freetown, and Middleborough folks. Treat those, however, I guess there'd be separate fees. But what I'd like to do is have a vote on how we want to do the restrictions. Then we'll vote on the pricing after that. We're going to keep it 2 separate votes, but let's nail it down on how we're going to have the park, what restrictions we're going to have, if that makes sense. If anybody wants to speak on their behalf, go right ahead on this one.
Yeah, okay. One of the options was to have Clear Pond with the addition of Middleborough and Freetown. And that was one of the options. And I think that's a fair thing to do. And would like that to happen so that we can improve our revenue for Clear Pond Park and to be a good neighbor to Freetown and Middleborough.
Darlene.
I would prefer it stay Lakeville residents only. That's just me. So I'm one voice and one vote, and I'm off in another meeting and I'm done. So I mean, I'll go with the flow, but I still would prefer it stay all Lakeville residents only.
Right. I'll speak on my behalf if I may. I'm not a fan of any restrictions. I like to say go back the way it was with everybody allowed. We've heard from people on the select board. They remember 40 years ago when they went down to the park, had dinner with their wife and kids, had a great time. Scott Holmes, one of our commissioners, mentioned when he used to go as a young boy, him and a bunch of buddies jump in a car, go, had a little sticker on a car that said Lakeville. They got in, had a great time at the park. I think what they enjoyed back then was a great place to hang out, cool off, in a safe environment to enjoy in the summertime. Fast forward 40 years, I like the same thing for everybody. I like to have the grandparents bring their little kids in a safe environment, place to cool off, have fun at the park. Yeah, I can go to Lakeville I'm not going to get harassed by gangs or anybody. I have a nice place to go. I think they can have memories. I think a lot of grandparents are disappointed they can't bring their grandchildren to get those memories started again. Once again, a place in Lakeville. They can go, cool off, have fun, be a safe place to go. You can not too many places you can just let your kids run around nowadays without worrying about someone snatching them. Clear Pond gives you that. So again, maybe I'm a little nostalgic, but I like to get it back to allowing what everybody in Lakeville enjoys to everybody enjoy. Might be people in Fall River, New Bedford, don't have this in their area. They can come to Lakeville, not just Lakevillians. I just don't see the people from Lakeville swarming to the park. I think those days are come and gone. I just like to share with everybody. I just think it's a great park, offers an awful lot, but it's a great place to go cool off for 10 weeks a year, a safe environment. So my take is for no restrictions, open up to everybody like it was for the last couple of years. I think maybe we can do some fine tuning. If it's an issue of how many people, too many people, we always can control that. That's easy. I just don't want to, I hate to go restrictions. I don't like to isolate anybody. And again, it's just people can enjoy the summer, cool off. That's the name of the game. So anyway, that's my take on it. If anybody wants to put together a motion, go right ahead.
Well, can I just say something that it sounds like we have really 3 different positions now. And our job is going to really be to compromise on one of these positions, because we've been talking about this now for over a month. So the way that it is now is that it's not restricted just to Lakeville people, because you can go, and if you're from out of town, or if you're from another state, you can certainly come. You just have to be with a Lakeville resident. So that, I think, gets misconstrued in the language that we have it as now, is that it's just Lakeville only. Grandparents can come, but they do have to know somebody in town. That's how it is now. What Paula and I were proposing was that it was opened up to Middleborough and Freetown. Freetown partly because the school systems are joined together, in Middleborough because it was such a close border. And Darlene, is what you're saying is that you kind of want to keep it how it is now, that it would be that you could bring guests as well, or no guests?
The way it is, the way you set it, the way we set it up last year. I like that.
So no change.
No change, to keep it status quo.
Darlene, do you have any ideas on how you're going to add revenue to Clear Pond Park?
No.
With just residents?
No, I don't. I really don't. But I just would like to see it stay that way. That's just my takeaway. I mean, I'm one person, one vote.
I know.
You know.
But I thought maybe you had some ideas for.
No, I really
revenue.
Don't. No.
So what do you say? Let's put it to a vote then. Let's move this along. I'll state the motion. Correct me if I'm incorrect, Tony. The motion is to make it Lakeville, Freetown, and Middleborough. Once again, can bring guests from out of town, but they have to be those residents come into the park. That's what you're saying, correct?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, can I get a second?
Just one more thing. What I'm trying to do here is, it sounds like there's 2 extreme positions here, or ones that are on the periphery. And what I feel like I'm proposing is something that meets in the middle. It's not completely Lakeville residents only, and it's not open to anybody from any town in the country. So we're trying to come to a compromise here, and that's really, I think, what's driving this motion here.
Again, can I get a second?
What was your motion, Joe?
I made the motion what Tony was talking about, Lakeville, Middleborough, and Freetown residents.
Okay, I make a motion that we allow.
I made the motion. I made the motion, Paul. Can I get a second?
You can. You have a second.
Okay. All right, let's vote on it. The motion is to allow Lakeville, Middleborough, and Freetown residents to Clear Pond Park. And anybody else, they can bring guests from outside, but they have to be with those 3 towns, correct? Any discussion?
Nope.
All right, let's take a vote. Paula, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tony, how do you vote?
Yes.
Darlene, how do you vote?
No.
Joe, how do you vote? No.
Oh, shit.
Motion is rejected. We're not going to vote on the extremes because we're not going to get on that one there. Guys, I don't know what we're going to be.
Joe, you're muted.
Sorry about
I
that.
lost your vocal.
Yeah. It goes back to Lakeville residents only, like it was last year. Because unless we want to try voting on it again next time, but right now it's going to be Lakeville residents only, like it was last year. Reverts back to that because we couldn't get a majority to vote on it to approve it.
Well, perhaps after April 4th, when there's a new commission, this will be voted on again. Because we don't have a majority.
That's correct. So do we want to talk about fees? You know, if it's going to be the way it was last year, do we want to increase the fees? I know, Tony, you had a proposal for some fees. Do we want to go forward with those?
If it's not going to change, no, then I would just recommend that the fees stay the same.
Okay, so
$99.
The fee was $80 because it was a 5-week season. So I guess it's if it's going to be 7 days, we'd have to go vote it back again to go to 99.
Yes.
Is that correct, everybody? I think. So I guess we'll have to decide how many days we're going to have it open. Then we reassess the fees. Reassess the fees then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really based on staffing and the director.
Yeah. So we'll save that for that. I don't think we need to come to an agreement on that one yet, but that's what we're doing right now. Right now, it's back the way it was. All right, moving right along. Any old business? Nellie, the update on the Girl Scout troop request for the recycle bins.
Did anybody reach out to them?
Tony,
yes,
you're going to reach out to them, right?
Yep, I did. I spoke to the woman and I kind of explained to her that it was a great idea. It's a great offer. That we just needed really some more clarity of what was going to actually take place, because putting something out has to be maintained. I did offer other avenues that the Girl Scouts could do to participate in Lakeville parks and get community service hours. I mentioned the playground down at Ted Williams Camp that we've talked about in prior meetings, to do some landscaping around that area. That could be something that could be done. I mentioned we have held cleanup days at Clear Pond this past year, and that hopefully that would be the plan this year, so that there would be opportunities to do that. So she said she would get back to me on it. Actually, she did say she would contact you again, Joe, and I'm not sure if that happened, but
no, not yet.
No, so I did give her a little bit some other opportunities, just because I thought that the trash thing was a great idea, but there's just a lot of continued maintenance that has to be. And if for some reason we don't have enough trash bins, then that's something that the park commission should take care of and talk with DPW.
Yeah, I think the recycling part is a great idea. It's an awful lot of stuff thrown away at the parks that I don't need to be. Either for the nickel for bottles and cans, and then as well as plastics.
So do we not have any of the 50-gallon blue drums?
I don't know what we have at Ted Williams. I know we have green metal bins with a hole in the middle at John Pond. I grabbed some of those from last year. I think we have 4 of them to be used for recyclables and plastics. Again, no one's managing that, so they get taken away like the trash. So, but we do have some containers. We could probably get some containers if we need them to labels with the hole in the cover and things like that if we want to do it at Ted Williams.
Yeah, it just becomes tough, I think, because people aren't always vigilant, and they put other things into the recycling bin that are not supposed to go in there. And then from the waste management perspective, you know, they're not going to dump one barrel out and go through every little thing in there. So it's really how do we impress that upon the community that it's important to recycle bottles and cans. And that's just, I guess, an education thing.
Yeah, maybe we want to start by adding some signage at the parks, explaining, you know, the recycle program or whatever, and see if people buy into it. They might. You can have 1 or 2 areas, maybe at Ted Williams, where you put the bins out, you know, a nice little area with a little cover over it or something, like a little lean-to. Maybe that's what you do. If people put all the recyclables there. I
mean, cans, if they're collected and it's all cans in the container, it could go to electricity cost. There we go.
Yep. Yeah. So what's the step moving forward on that one? We want to let the Girl Scout troop think about that, or something we can give them a hand with, something like that.
I reached out to them. She has my phone number. She has our emails. I would be happy to facilitate anything, whether I'm on the park commission or not.
Right. Another item I want to bring up is with the upcoming elections and people leaving, how do we want to handle the transfer of documents? Do we want to create files per park and give them to like Nellie to distribute to the new people or something? I know I have a lot of documents from John Pond, the stuff that's going on down there. I'm sure other people do too from their places. How do we want to handle that transfer of information? I don't want it to be lost. It's not fair to the people that be coming in. I'm open for ideas how we want to do that for a file or document handoff, if you will. I mean, Darlene, you might have some information with soccer and whatever else is down there. You're the keeper of the key for the bathrooms. I mean, how do you want to handle all that?
You're on mute, Darlene.
Sorry. There's nobody on the ballot. Let's start with that. I mean, transfer of power to whom? That would be very interesting.
Yeah, that'll probably be write-in possible. I don't know, but there will be a commission next in April. Again, I just think we just have to have everybody leave and no documents are transferred to anybody somehow, somewhere. So I'm going to try to put files together and maybe send them to Nellie, electronic ones, things like that. But
yeah, I mean, I can certainly. I have a Google Drive where I keep all of my stuff, and I can pop it on a flash drive, and Nellie can put it on the computer.
Yeah,
Nellie.
I don't know about electronic versus paper at this point, because I don't know how much I'm going to be able to transfer electronically before I leave.
Well, we could have it in a shared spot, couldn't we?
Well, we could put it on a USB drive.
Yeah, a USB drive would probably be easy for anybody to access right then and there if we did it that way, or if it's on paper. Even if you send it to me, I can print it, of course. Like that's not a problem. But I don't see us. I don't know if we're having a meeting that election week to then designate who's doing what. So like I wouldn't know who the John Pond liaison is going to be.
I think we're going to need to have one right after the election. At Tuesday, I'll say a Wednesday. Well, the election's on Monday, right? So I think maybe Wednesday or Thursday that week to get the people identified, because it is sports season and there's a lot of questions coming in for sports teams. I've got some requests already for tournaments down John Pond starting in May. Other stuff. So I think we can't really skip a beat. So I think we're going to have to push for one on that Wednesday or Thursday. We already have a meeting set up for the 29th, I believe 2 weeks from tonight is the last one is this group, but I think we need to have one with the new people, assuming they get enough people on to be write-ins. But again, we can't let the sports fall apart. Stuff is going on. People need information from us, what to do. So something to think about.
Oh.
Darlene.
I'll be in Aruba the 29th. I'm not going to be at the meeting on the 29th.
Okay.
And Scott won't be here, will he?
I'm going to be I'm leaving for Aruba the 25th. My stepdaughter's getting married there. I mean, leaving on the 24th, sorry.
and Scott won't be here, right? So there'll be only 3 of us.
Yeah.
No, Scott's trying to attend.
Okay.
So like I said, I just, between now and then, maybe we make that, the next agenda's got to be on transfer of information. I think we have to really focus on how we're going to do it. Like I said, I'm going to try to do maybe files, then it goes be on a USB, whatever. I got a lot of stuff electronically. I don't want to put everything out, make up stuff like that. But I think I can quantify it in different folders, things like that. But again, we have a lot of information you got to pass on to somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I think Tony's idea of a USB is a really good one, because then you can label it as the park and that can be transferred, because those can be left in the office so then anybody can access it as it goes.
Yeah, you can just put folders on it and different things.
Yeah, so I think we need to talk about, maybe we can have a USB for each one of those commission roles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put stuff together that way, and then whoever has it gets that USB, goes from there.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of stuff that has to happen. The seasons are opening first, second week of April, and that's when the handoff is. So we have to be careful there that we don't slip on that one there. So just my 3 cents worth on that one. So we'll put that on the agenda for next week. Dolly, if you have anything, if you can get it ahead of time, put together either a USB or just send the files to Nellie or whatever.
Yeah, I just have some notes about the kids, the Eagle Scout, different stuff like that, the playground, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'll just put that together.
All right.
Okay.
All right, moving right along. Any new business for the commission?
Yes, I have something. I had a town resident contact me about a field hockey usage. He wanted to do like a pilot program for at Ted Williams Camp. Just he mentioned using it for a day and getting a group of kids together and having some field space at Ted Williams Camp to try that out, to see if it could eventually develop into a league. He was saying, that's a sport at the high school, but they don't have anything for younger kids in the middle school. So I told him to forward his request to Nellie. Nellie, did you receive that from Mr. Eric Stanley? And I told him that I would bring it to the Park Commission and said that we had to go through a process to, designate some time or whatever we have to do. So is there a time that he can use some space? Or Nellie, I know he mentioned having an insurance binder or something, and you said that you'd forward him the form.
Yeah, I'm going to work with him on the insurance binder. I'm not sure if he has one already set up and stuff. So I'll work with him on that. And if we want to move forward, giving him a contract, I can do that too. But for the contract, I would need to know a fee to list if it's a possibility.
Yeah, and usually, correct me if I'm wrong, with something that's just testing the waters and seeing if even kids are going to show up, we usually waive the fee on that.
Yeah. Okay. So if you just give more, but my 2 cents worth, if you just give more details to him, we can have it. We got room, no problem.
Okay.
We can find a spot for him.
Okay.
That makes sense, everybody?
Sounds good.
I got one other thing for in new business. I sent a request to Scott. I know he has the baseball end of it and the fields end at Ted Williams, but we haven't been able to connect it all. And the folks from Free Lake Softball reached out last year. Their program's growing like crazy, which is great news for John Pond and all. But they talked about if they could have Field 5 at Ted Williams, way down back there, for softball, and maybe we can have even women's blooper ball maybe there. They don't need lights. They play usually 6 o'clock. I'm just wondering if that field is being used this year, if we can use that for softball. They'd really appreciate extra space, things like that, but I don't know who's using Field 5. If anybody seems to know at Ted Williams. Nellie, do you have any idea who would usually down there? Anybody?
No idea.
I'd like to give them an answer soon. I'm trying to find out how we find out who's be using that field. Like I said, I'm talking about the one way down back there. It seems to be baseball fields are seen to be open this year, or have been in past years. So I'm just wondering if we can move other people around. If it makes sense. But I throw that out there because they're just asking for that group there.
I don't think that's the field Ken is using, right? Ken Lawley's group.
I don't know. He's using the one the big field, I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just want to make sure if anybody knows who would be on field 5, and if it's available at all during the week.
Weekends, Joe?
Possibly, but maybe during the weeks. I just didn't know if that field was being used at all. Years ago, I'm talking quite a while ago, I remember some T-ball would play down there and things like that, but I don't know if they're on there now or what we have. So I'm just asking on behalf of softball, maybe if we can give them if we have some extra space, we can give another field to them. So, again, something to think about. Maybe we'll have to get hold if Scott's the guy or whoever, but I just didn't know if anybody in the past year had field 5 reserved.
Not that I know of.
Right. Obviously, we have to do a better job years going forward and knowing who's on what field when, so we can have this information, obviously. So that's something we have to take a look at down the road. Items from the clerk. Nellie, it says special town meeting items.
Yes, just to let you guys know, there's a special town meeting scheduled for May 16th. And articles for that town meeting must be submitted by March 21st. I don't think we have anything, but I wanted to let everybody know just in case something popped up.
So, for example, what have we had in the past for an article we've brought forward to them?
I think the only items we've had in the past for a special town meeting is like transferring funds from our retained earnings into our budget to cover like a special project that we were doing, or bills that got submitted after the fiscal year changed that they went to special town meeting to be paid. I think those are really the only things that we've done is transferring funds from like our retained earnings or bills. That's been it.
Right. And we have nothing that's outstanding that we have to get.
Nope.
All right. I guess we don't have anything then. One less thing to vote on at a town meeting. How's that? Okay, any other business? Anybody want to bring anything up? A question I have, as you know, Bob Beach did have some surgery in the off season here, and he has not come back yet. I think he's going to be coming back. But again, with sports season opening, we got the bathrooms that need to be cleaned. One, the John Pond, that unit is usually cleaned by Bob. We got to figure out how we're going to handle that if he doesn't come back soon. And when are we going to open up the bathrooms and all that stuff? So, again, the clocks are ticking. We got to determine when are we going to do that.
Joe, part of the bathroom thing is the bathroom in the Pines. Did the men's room ever get a new sink?
No.
Is there a problem why we can't get one in there? It's not that expensive.
It was on the list for Teddy and them, but they never did it last year. We'll have to follow up with them, see if it's going to do it this year. The one side is working. Well, it's closed up. Now I'm talking the big one by the karate studio.
Well,
yeah,
the karate guy.
It'd be nice to get fixed
during the week.
Say it again, Darlene.
The karate guy maintains that one during the week. That's part of his deal.
Does he clean that and supply all the materials?
Yes. That's part of his deal there. I
thought Bob was supplying the materials for that.
I don't think so. Last I knew, the karate guy was in charge of those bathrooms right there.
So does somebody want to ask him when he's planning on opening them?
Yeah.
You could, because Nellie, what do you got?
It's not John that opens them. It is him that cleans them, like Darlene is saying. We got to talk to Ryan. He's got to get the pipes back up and working. So whenever that schedule is when we can open them.
They have those pipes. Those pipes have to be working because he's got karate going on now, and the kids are using that bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know if they like shut off the spigot to like the big one versus like that area. I don't know if that's cut off.
I don't think so for some reason, but maybe I'm wrong.
But I know some of them
I thought he had
have
a
to do with the
bathroom.
piping, and that's all Ryan and Highway scheduling that. So let's say Highway Department doesn't have that on the schedule till like the 15th of April. We need to kind of figure that out.
I'll give it Franklin tomorrow on that one when they plan on opening them. How's that?
And who's responsible for taking care of the bathroom in the Pines? I mean, it's time to open that up and change the sink. At least it's been a while. Who does that?
Darlene, you're on mute if you're speaking to us. I don't know who does that one. I don't know if Ryan opens that one up or not.
Which one? I'm sorry, which one?
The bathroom in the Pines. Okay.
That goes
one
along-
side works, the one side doesn't.
I don't know about
Nelly.
that one.
Nelly.
Those pipes are part of the, if I remember correctly, those pipes leading to that bathroom are part of the pipes that get shut down for the winter and get blown out so they don't freeze. So that would be on that schedule as well as they're running the waters back through.
All right, I'll give it Franklin. I'll get an answer from Franklin.
Okay. Or I can see Ryan. I can see Ryan on Thursday when I get back in town. If you want, I mean, save your trip.
I'll reach out to Franklin tomorrow.
Okay.
Get an answer. Same thing goes for the unit over there at John Pond. Someone's going to have to open that one up. Again, whoever has that park next. I'll be out of town after the 1st of April, so I won't be able to open up then. But they're going to be starting, I think, that week at John Pond. So,
would Franklin do it?
No, they don't touch that unit. I usually get the wall going and all that over there, but they don't do anything to that bathroom unit. That's been the issue a couple of years now. That's the problem. Again, I'll leave it at that. But that's something that's going to then take some work. Whoever gets that park next, it takes a lot of work to keep that one going. All right. Anything else? If nothing else. We do have a spot on here going to executive session. We'd like to go to executive session to review minutes from the last 2 executive sessions. It should only take 5 minutes, but there's 2 sets of minutes we have to approve based on those last two meetings. Paulie, you were not at one of them, but you were at the other. So you can vote on one, but you can't vote on the other. But if no one has anything else, I would like to make a motion. We adjourn this meeting of the Park Commission, and then we're going to go into executive session, and we will not return to public meeting after that.
Joe, you got to read it the way it says. So the possible, that's your motion. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Nelly. I knew it'd be something. All right. I'd like to make a motion. We go to possible executive session pursuant to MGL C30A, approval of executive session minutes for May 17th, 2021 and June 29th, 2021. We will not return to open session after that. So make a motion. We end this meeting here. I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. So the vote be to end this one here and go into executive session. Tony, how do you vote?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Darlene?
Yes.
Yes. All right. The open meeting of the Lakeville Park Commission is over as of 8:08 p.m. Our next meeting will be the 29th. It'll be in person in the Lakeville Police Station. We're going to try an open meeting or in-person meeting, excuse me. In-person meeting. All right.